Hello, and welcome to Totally Schway, a podcast about the DCAU and whatever the hell else I want it to be about. My name is Mary,
And my name is Luke.
and we want to welcome you to the space year 2025. And we hope it will be a good year. Was that good?
Yeah,
He
that's
wanted me to
great.
try something different, so
Yeah, well, you've done it.
yeah.
It's done now. It's committed to record.
So we don't actually have any news today.
No, but I suppose you might want to mention that something you're doing at the moment to kind of fill your free time.
Well, yeah. Okay, so I am trying to do some things that spark joy in my life, things that I've kind of always wanted to do. And I kind of said, "Hey, screw that. Let's build a Lego thing."
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I am building the what is it called? The Lego.
It's the Batman the Animated Series Gotham City skyline.
Yeah, the
set.
skyline. It's been pretty cool. I cannot say that I am the biggest fan of Lego. I mean, Lego games, yes, but actual Legos, because
Legos. It's Lego. That's the
sorry,
plural.
excuse me, Lego.
Fake fan exposed.
um, but I thought this would be kind of cool to do. Luke is not helping me whatsoever.
No, I think anyone that watched your time lapse video, or even the videos you uploaded showing us building the Lego X Jet, I'm very impatient. I don't have the patience for Lego. I get frustrated quite easily. The prospect of how many pieces does this have? It's over 4,000,
I
something
don't
like that.
know.
It's thousands and thousands of pieces. The other day you showed, oh, I've completed this side of it. I think I'm a quarter of the way through it. Like, no, you're not even a sixth.
But I will tell you, I think Lego are cool in terms of the collaborations that they do, and just in general being
Yeah.
able to build things out of bricks. You know, it's really great, especially for kids and stuff, but also for adults that have that aren't as neurotypical as other people, because I have ADD or ADHD, whichever one you want to call it, and I have found that stuff like that has been quite helpful in the past couple of days, so that's really nice. Would I do it all over again after I'm finished? I will tell you on my channel. I'm gonna be honest with you, the answer is probably no, because my fingers hurt. Nobody tells you about like doing like a really big Lego, right? Like a Lego build that your fingers are gonna feel sore, and mine feel a little bit sore, but I think it's gonna be worth it in the end.
Yeah, it's nice. I've got a display case for it. I bought that months ago, didn't I?
July.
Yeah, a long time ago, and I couldn't bring myself to build it or the display case. But I guess once you've almost finished that one, I'll put the display case together because I've got all the bits.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what else I did over the holiday break.
Go ahead.
Even though we didn't actually take a break,
I did.
I finished Power Wash Simulator.
Yes.
That's all.
Very productive.
I did it while watching Kit Boga videos and watching 48 Hours.
What were you playing before that? You played something else before that, didn't you?
Vampire Survivors.
No, there was something else you played.
I don't remember.
I can't remember either now.
No.
Doesn't matter.
Probably GTA in between. I never play online though, because people say things I don't care for. Shall we get into today's episode now that everybody knows what I've been up to? What have you been up to? But I should have asked that. How rude of me. What have you been up to?
I just work. That's all I do.
Yeah. We did watch a few Christmas movies together. But other than that, I think you've just been
Chipping away at things. Yeah.
I guess mine was more interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, okay. So I actually forgotten what the hook was with this. Like we said, we're going to talk about Commissioner Gordon. And I can't remember why.
So this is a podcast about whatever the hell else I want it to be about.
Yes.
And I am going to say it's just about how freaking cool Commissioner Gordon is and why he would make a great friend.
Okay, fair enough. I think we called him like the best dad or something like that.
Yeah. I keep calling him Kamish,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't realize until recently that there is an actual full-on show called Kamish
Oh yeah.
or I think it's something like that. So apologies if you guys think I am talking about Kamish.
Well, I think Harvey Bullock should be the one getting payment for their using that term because he calls Commissioner Gordon
Mm-hmm.
Commish
Yeah.
and has been doing it for decades. So
Yeah.
unless this show started in the 1980s, they owe Harvey Bullock money.
I think that show was before the 80s.
Oh well, in that case, Bullock owes
Yeah.
them money.
Yeah.
I don't make the
Who
rules.
does Bullock not owe money to? And that beautiful rent controlled apartment that's filthy.
Yes.
So I think Commissioner Gordon is one of the best characters in the DCAU because of his heart and just his overall work ethic
hmm
and his charm.
hmm One of the things I really liked about Commissioner Gordon is in the new Batman Adventures episode Over the Edge, where Batgirl has a scarecrow fear gas induced hallucination that she had been killed, and Commissioner Gordon sought revenge on Batman.
Mm-hmm.
After she wakes up from that, she decides to go and tell her dad everything, that she is Batgirl, so that he won't be shocked if she were to be killed.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, he already knows.
Yeah.
And she starts to try to tell him, and he goes, whatever you're about to say, you cannot say it. I cannot officially know, but just know that I love and support you.
Yeah.
And that's like, now it's time for dinner.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, I thought that was very good.
Yeah. I love that.
Because, there is a criticism of Commissioner Gordon. They did this in the DC Comics as well, where Commissioner Gordon tried to get a job in a different city and people just laughed at him, go, you can't police your city, you need a guy in a costume, lol. That was a direct quote.
Lol.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah. But the thing is, Gotham isn't like anywhere else.
I don't like that nobody wanted to hire Kamish.
Yeah, well, they dismiss him, but it's their loss.
Yeah.
Um,
Defo.
and in Batman the Animated Series, he didn't really get very many episodes where he was like front and center.
Mm-hmm.
He was always, I guess, he was used for exposition. He'd be like, "Hey, Batman, this laser cannon's been stolen. You should go and investigate this because I can't." Which I suppose is kind of morally dubious. Like I know that someone has been involved in this crime, but the law prevents me from investigating it properly. Wouldn't it be interesting, Batman, if somebody went and talked to this guy and maybe found out what was happening? And maybe if he ended up tied up outside the front of the police station, we might then be able to question him. Cough, cough.
Cough, cough. Nudge, nudge.
Which
points in the right direction.
Yeah, when I frame it that way, it makes it sound like he is actually quite corrupt.
But it's not a corrupt as in, oh, I'm gonna take some money or I'm gonna have somebody murder somebody or whatever. It's I really can't do this, but you can help me so I can do my job. You do your job, I'll do mine.
Yes, yeah, it's a different kind of corruption, isn't it? He's violating these criminals' rights, and frankly, no one cares. And I don't know. Don't think I particularly care either. If they hadn't done something wrong, then they can't really expect not to get beaten up by Batman in Gotham City, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I just love his demeanor.
Yeah. He's very... Bob Hastings had a really rich voice, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
The voice actor who played Commissioner Gordon. Apparently he was very nice as well. Kevin Altieri mentioned that whenever he saw Bob Hastings, Bob would ask him how his dad was doing. He talked to Kevin about his dad at one point, and he was like, "Oh yeah, tell me more about your dad."
No. I love that. Not only was the character really lovely, so was the voice actor.
Yes, and Bob Hastings, I might be misremembering this, but when he was younger, I believe he played Jimmy Olsen in the radio Superman shows. I believe he did.
I've not actually listened to those.
No, I haven't either.
I don't know where you would find them other than on YouTube or something.
Yeah, they've got to be on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, I love stuff like that. Like the old radio shows, because they're just so, the voice acting in them is just so out there. And it's like, my imagination can take control in terms of the visuals, but the voice acting was just incredible.
Yeah, and it was the benefit of them sitting down together and recording in
Mhm.
person, which is why Andrea Romano insisted on doing the same thing
Yeah.
for Batman. She wanted to get better performances of actors reacting to each other, and that's why.
And you can tell the difference
Yeah,
between ones that she did and ones that other people did. Not in terms of like Batman, because obviously she was the person, but I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about other cartoons.
yeah, or even the video games. Like
Oh God, yeah.
you can tell in the Arkham games that Kevin Conroy was sat by himself in a recording booth most of the time. That's not being critical of his performance, but it doesn't have the same energy as when he is in the recording booth with, say, Mark Hamill or Arlene Sorkin or whoever else. It's just different, and you can tell. Um, I kind of lost track of where I was going there, relating to Commissioner Gordon. Other than like Bob Hastings' great performance,
Hmm.
um, and seemed
Definitely,
like a nice guy as well.
definitely one of those characters that I always think about when I think of like fatherly figures.
Mm.
Because I don't think he was just a father figure. I mean, obviously he was Barbara's father, but I think he was a kind of one of those father figures to Batman as well.
Yes, yeah, you're right. Because in the episode "I Am the Night," the one where Commissioner Gordon gets shot during a raid when Batman turned up late, or
Hmm.
because Batman turned up late. At least that's what Batman says to himself. The reason why he gets so upset is he goes, I've realised that Commissioner Gordon is the same age my father would have been if he had still been alive.
Hmm.
Um, and it's funny, in most of these like Commissioner Gordon centric episodes, it's usually because something has happened to him. Either he's been shot, he's been set up for a crime he didn't commit,
Hmm.
like in Shadow of the Bat, and he gets locked up in prison, and the whole story is about we've got to get the commissioner out, or Barbara says she's got to get her dad out. Or Heart of Steel, he's been kidnapped and replaced with a duplicate. There are very few stories. In fact, I can't think of any off the top of my head where Commissioner Gordon is like the lead character and he's the one solving the crimes. He's just there to clean up the mess or for people to be worried about when something
Yeah.
happens to him.
Apologies for my watch going off.
That's okay.
It was just telling me to stand.
No.
I stand for Commissioner Gordon. Yeah, I just love that because, you know, being a kiddo when this first came out and seeing a character like that, just, it was cool. Because a lot of the stuff on TV, the dads were like goofy or just mean or very annoying.
Mm.
But then you see like Commissioner Gordon, and it's like, wow, that's kind of like what I would like to think normal is.
Yeah.
That's like a real dad. So yeah, that was really, really cool to see. And also you don't just see him like, or I don't just see him like that. I see him as someone that I would be really good friends with, that you could like actually talk about um the reason why you like Gone with the Wind, but then the
Mm.
reason why like this is definitely not going to be in your top 20. And I could see him probably agreeing with me. Although Gone with the Wind was great, but you know.
Yeah. I was just thinking, going back to I Am the Night, when Commissioner Gordon gets shot and he's in a coma briefly. But when he
Mhm.
wakes up, he's really apologetic to Barbara and Batman, going, "I'm sorry I let this happen to me. I'm just too old. Maybe if I'd been young, I wouldn't be in this situation. I'd like to be like you, Batman." And it's funny that he just blames himself for it, even though he seemingly got hit by a stray bullet. There's not really anything you could do about it.
Yeah.
And that there's a really powerful scene in that episode when Batman turns up and helps with the raid, and the jazz man gets caught. Bullock's really happy. He's like, "Yeah, good job, man. Where's the commish? We should celebrate with him." And he's like, "Commissioner, Commissioner." Turns around and looks down the street, and you just see him face down in
Mm,
the street with his glasses like a foot in front of him,
yeah.
and uh, what's his name? Bobby Costanza, Costanzo. I think the voice actor who plays Harvey Bullock. He's very kind of flippant in his delivery, but he becomes dead serious.
Mm.
And he goes like, "Oh my god!" And it's like one of the only times in that show where they were actually allowed to say, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
Um,
Was that a censorship thing?
it was a censorship thing. Yes, they didn't want to. I've seen notes from the network saying they don't want to offend Christians by invoking God's name in vain,
Mm-hmm.
which is silly. Um,
I was raised in Oklahoma, so
yeah,
that kind of, although I wasn't a religious person growing up, I can understand that.
yes, and also, you're from a part of the world where they consider "damn" to be a swear word,
Yeah,
and it's totally not.
and hell. What, the HE double hockey sticks?
Yeah,
It's like what? Huh? Yeah.
yeah. But I think another thing that I find kind of interesting about Batman the Animated Series is Commissioner Gordon is they don't really delve into his backstory at all. Because in the comics they've done loads of stuff with Commissioner Gordon's backstory. You know how he was a transplant. He was sent to Gotham from Chicago after he testified against some corrupt
Chicago.
some corrupt cops there. But he was kind of sent to Gotham for his safety, air quote. But it also seemed kind of like a punishment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, But he rose through the ranks, ended up becoming the police commissioner and cleaning the town up. They never delved into any of that in Batman the Animated Series, or they never really went into his, who his wife was. In the comics, he had an affair with a co-worker, Sarah Essen, and ended up marrying her. She got killed by the Joker. When was that? That was in the 90s, I guess. But again, none of that in the show. Maybe they didn't think he was that interesting a character. I know in the writer's Bible they talked about him being a hardworking, staunch, by the books beat cop that was promoted as kind of like a token gesture by the city officials, the corrupt city officials, to say, "Hey, look, we've put the most honest cop in town in charge of Gotham, the police department. That shows how committed we are to being honest." When they thought they'd be able to push him around.
Mm-hmm.
But he pushed back and
Yeah.
cleaned up the town, which is kind of cool. But they never showed that in the show. If you consider that to be his backstory, though, because it's in that writer's Bible, there's nothing to contradict that in the show. So sure, go ahead. But I would just exercise caution because that same writer's Bible said that Two-Face was created when he waited for Batman at a sting and got impatient for him, decided to go in alone and got caught in an explosion, which isn't what happened in the show. Also described Killer Croc as a big game hunter that got bit by an exotic lizard that turned him into a reptile man, which definitely did not happen in
Mm.
the show.
Are you sure?
I'm certain.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I think I would remember.
Okay. I I love how this I don't see Commissioner Gordon as a bit character because I think he is one of the main characters of the show because I don't think this show would have been as awesome as it was without Commissioner Gordon. I say that a lot about these characters when I talk about specific ones, but it's so true. It's like a beautiful puzzle that was put together, and if you're missing one little piece,
Mm.
it's gone.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
there's a void there, and somehow the creators and actors and everyone that was a part of the show just made it so well
Yeah,
that
that's right.
we're talking about it, decades later.
Yeah, that's right. And we're not just screaming into the void about it. People listen and people respond to it. And
Yeah.
you're right that it was. I mean, the show as a whole it's made up of so many wonderful parts, like beautiful art style, beautiful acting, some amazing animation, some pretty poor, true, but you can kind of ignore that when you look at episodes like, Two-Face Part 1 and On Leather Wings, Heart of Ice, Feet of Clay Part 2, especially that one. That was tremendous animation. Amazing music as well, and it's the people involved. There's so much heart and effort and energy involved in it. It just comes through.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that at the time that they were making it, particularly the actors, They had no idea what it would go on to be. They were just like, yeah, this is a job. We're going to turn up. We're going to have fun. We're going to do the best we can. But we'll forget about it. I read an interview with with David Warner, who voiced Ra's al Ghul, and he was saying, "R.I.P. David Warner." He passed away within the last couple of years, actually. But he was saying that the most people talk to him, his most common role that people talk to him about when he's out and about or at conventions or whatever, was Ra's al Ghul. And he said, I feel so terrible because I can't remember anything about it. It was just a job. I remember Freakazoid really well. Oh, I loved Freakazoid.
No.
Yeah, it's
Did
just
he
like,
voice Freakazoid?
no, he was, I forget the name of his character, but it was like a mad scientist character he played.
I think I watched one episode of that all the way through, and then I just was like, no, thank you.
But yeah, it's really funny. And, Ephraim Zimbalist Jr., he also said that throughout his entire career, and he had a, 60-odd year career, the most letters he ever received about any of his roles was Alfred. People just responded to it. But, as I was saying at the time, they had no idea what it was going to be. They just thought, hey, it's just a job. We'll turn up, have a good time, do the best we can.
What was your favorite Commissioner Gordon episode?
It's going to be I Am the Knight, which is kind of ironic considering he spends like 2/3 of the episode in bed in a coma. But you see how much he means to the people. Like,
Yeah.
Bullock is furious. I mean, Bullock's kind of a short-tempered, irritable person anyway, but he is really furious. And one of the things I really love is there's a scene where they're all standing by Commissioner Gordon's bedside. And Bullock comes in and Batman's there, and he blames Batman. He said, "Where were you? You were late. That's why he got shot."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like lashing out and threatening to beat him up and stuff. When really, Bullock isn't mad at Batman.
He's mad at himself.
He's mad at himself because it happened on his watch. And he had no idea that Commissioner Gordon had been shot. He didn't even notice. And that's what Bullock does when he's angry. He lashes out at people rather than lashing out at himself. Which I just thought that scene was just wonderfully psychologically revealing. And the funny thing was Batman internalizes that blame. Batman's the opposite. He always blames himself.
Yeah.
Even for things that are nothing to do with him. He's like, I could have done something. I should have done something. I could have done more. I can always do more.
He would probably blame himself for the Liberty Bell crack. Do you know what
I
I
hadn't
mean?
been born yet to stop it. God damn it.
How dare I?
Yeah. I mean, he kind of moves away from that as he gets older, doesn't he, Batman? He becomes a bit more
grumpy.
Yeah, grouchy, short-tempered, intolerant of other people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's my favorite scene. What about yours? Which one is yours?
Well, I do. Mine is a favorite scene because I can't pick just a favorite episode because there's so many that I could say, oh, hey, I like this one or I like this one and this one and this one, but I don't like one over the other. But there's one scene, and I have had it in a video that I've done before, but Luke is the one that talked about it, and that is the last scenes in Holiday Nights.
The New Year's Eve one.
Yes, and the reason I like that is because it shows that this is something he does every year. This is not anything new. This is not something he's going to make resolutions for. There is one job and one job only, and that's to protect. And he says something along the lines of like, we'll do it again next year or something like that. And I think that scene sums up Commissioner Gordon really well in terms of what his job is and how much he appreciates it, because it's such a small scene, but it's such a big impact.
Yeah, that is a great scene. I really like it too.
And the fact that Batman is also there is cool because he's like, okay, we're going to do this together. And it's never just about, oh, I need to protect this city all by myself. It's, we need to protect this city.
That scene was an adaptation of a comic. It was the Batman Adventures Holiday Special that Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, Glenn Murakami, Dan Reba, and Kevin Altieri worked on. I think other people that worked on the show did as well, but those are the main ones that jump out in my mind.
Yeah.
And Dan Reba drew that scene. Ooh. And he's still got the original pages for it. He showed me them.
Oh, wow.
including a very funny. Well, I think it's funny. The letterer made a slight mistake with the Old Lang Syne lyric that those drunk people are singing at the start. He
Yeah.
misspelled it, and Dan was very quick to point it. Goes, I know you've seen that. I know you've seen that there's a mistake on there, but it wasn't me. It was the letterer. It was not me.
Had you even noticed?
No. Yeah, it was great. It's such a wonderful, touching scene, and
We love Dan.
yeah, it's
And Kevin,
yeah,
and
they're all great.
yeah, honestly, they're just the people that the creative minds of this, including the likes of Bob Hastings and Kevin Conroy and just everybody. You wouldn't have Commissioner Gordon if it wasn't for all of these people. The Commissioner Gordon from this show, like is so full of pride for what he does, and is so full of pride for, although he doesn't show it as much, for there being protectors, as in like Batman and Batgirl, um, because he can't really show it, but you know it's there, and he's proud of them for being selfless. And yeah, can't say that I saw be proud of Robin though.
Yeah, and you reminded me of the episode POV where Bullock, Montoya, and Officer Wilkes are accused of corruption after a sting goes wrong, and Gordon defends them unwaveringly. Even someone like Bullock,
Mm-hmm.
who he doesn't like,
Yeah.
at this time he doesn't like anyway. I think he grows to like him quite a bit. But he's defending them from the internal affairs guy whose name escapes me at the moment. And then when when Montoya solves the case, even though she's been suspended, Gordon's there with their badges to give it back to them and say, "Hey, well done. I knew you guys were clean. You're great." And then the internal affairs guy comes and goes, "Hey, wait a minute. They were suspended. They're not supposed to be doing any of this." And Gordon just grabs him by the collar, pulls him in close, and says, like, "They've proved that they are innocent. Get the F out of here."
Yeah.
And then just throws him away, which I think is really indicative of Gordon's approach to the rules.
Yeah.
He's like, I will bend and break the rules so long as the outcome is right and just. And if the rules try and butt heads with me, I will headbutt them very hard.
Yeah, as long as it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, so the ends justify the means,
Yes.
basically.
And sometimes that's what a cop's got to do what a cop's got to do, as long as they're not thieving
Or killing.
or killing.
Unless it was, a particularly bad person and they're 100% certain, then maybe we might just.
Well, that's what we have the justice system for.
Well, you say that, but in I'm going to call up an obscure scene. So in Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, when Tim Drake killed the Joker, they called Commissioner Gordon and he covered it up.
Mm-hmm.
He and Batman
But
buried.
he didn't actually kill someone.
No, he didn't. He didn't. But he was like, "Well, it's the Joker. He's a maniac. He's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to shed any tears. Come on, Batman. Let's bury him here."
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just tell no one and just say, "What Joker? We don't know no Jokers
Who?
around here. Who? You want clowns? Go to the circus."
What'd you call my mom?
Yeah, exactly. So in a way, yeah, Commissioner Gordon is corrupt, but it's a different kind of corruption. Maybe morally grey is a better way of putting it. He doesn't do wrong, but he doesn't abide by the rules all the time.
I can see him being that guy that you see sometimes that just doesn't say things like really bad swear words. I can
Gosh darn it.
I can see him saying something like, "Damn it. Oh, sorry, honey.
Dang.
Sorry, honey. I didn't mean to say that in front of you."
Gee willikers.
It's just like, I have no idea who you are. Why are you calling me honey? And then you're like, "Oh, okay, Dad." Just call him Dad out of nowhere.
There's a lady present, Jen.
Yeah. I know that type of person. Like, there's a lady present. And I love that so much when I talk about these shows. And it truly is because they made a difference. And I think Commissioner Gordon shows us that not only is he a great father to Barbara, but he's a great father to his city. And ultimately, isn't that what we want in a police commissioner?
Probably.
Yeah.
There will be people that go, "No, I want unscrupulously following the rules." And unscrupulous, that was the wrong word. You know what I mean. Just rigidly following the rules, never doing anything wrong, even if it means good people suffer. Yeah.
You know what? I think that's pretty much sums up what we think about Commissioner Gordon and why he would make a great friend. He's a great dad, and why. Oh, there's my watch.
Why Mary's watch keeps going off.
Apparently, there's a Sephora sale.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah.
Hear that, everyone? Sephora sale. Quick, get out there now. Go, 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 go.
But I would vote for Commissioner Gordon to be mayor.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, Commissioner Gordon becomes mayor in some stories. Like he's the mayor in Absolute Batman at the moment.
I would vote for him to be president.
Mm.
I'm waiting for you to tell me.
I don't think they've done President Jim yet.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to the comments.
Okay, so first comment is a new commenter, I believe. Apologies if you've commented before. Spa or SP and Comcat. I think that's Span Comcat, possibly. It's just because it's got capital SPA and then lowercase n and then uppercase C. But anyway, their comment is first. Yes.
Yes, word. I love it.
Next is another new commenter, I believe, and I'm going to butcher this username. I apologize in advance. Kulanzulch. Kulanzuk. Yeah, Kulanzuk. Yeah. Kulanzuk5502, who says, Hola.
Hola.
Will you guys be talking about Creature Commandos soon? Episode 4 broke me, man. Do you know what? I haven't even watched Creature Commandos yet. It was on my list of things to do over the festive break, but I didn't get around to it.
Mm-hmm.
I might try to do it today if I can make decent enough progress on the video I've been struggling to finish right. That's supposed to be going out to channel members on Monday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're having a bit of a creative challenge at the moment.
I just don't think I've said anything that's particularly interesting or insightful, so I keep redoing it. And I've done like 4 drafts now, and I think I might just bite the bullet and just go with the latest draft and release it. But anyway, but you know, once I've watched Creature Commandos, I may very well do a video about a Batman villain that appears in it. Maybe. I mean, Mary, I know you said you were on the fence about watching it.
Yeah. Well, the main reason is because I can't find the iPad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I say the iPad, I'm talking about your iPad. My iPad is right there, but yours is the one that we use to watch stuff.
Yeah, don't tell Warner Brothers, but we've got a US HBO account.
VPN, which is completely...
Yeah, true. We do use a VPN so that we can access Mary's HBO account. Or Max account, I should say.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the reason why I'm saying in the living room rather than in like the bedroom or something is because I'm building that thing at the moment, so I could watch that and do it at the same time.
Okay, so next comment is the latest tome from Michael Andre Parlon on his main account this time.
I have been waiting.
So he says, time shall tell on how the upcoming Superman film shall go, but considering how Creature Commandos is surprising people still, I guess the optimism isn't dumbfounded for now. Comfort and Joy is a one-parter, but it sure spent its runtime basically perfectly. That's what I like about the Justice League and later Unlimited. They may be Earthbound heroes, yes, I'm imagining that Nintendo classic of a role-playing game, but that doesn't mean saving other worlds and universes isn't part of their job listing. Meanwhile, I don't see the Avengers, X-Men and the Fantastic Four doing such a thing in recent years, and even if they do, the idea of such interventionism gets badmouthed to the point of becoming unintentionally sympathetic, because Marvel story writers can't write a damn 75% of the time, although there is that 25%, as seen with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man films, Into the Spider-Verse, and the occasional MCU gems like the first Iron Man, the first 2 Captain America films. The first 2 Guardians of the Galaxy films, surprisingly haven't watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3 yet, and I fear it may let me down, hence not including it. The first Ant-Man and Black Panther. Oh, I need to take a long breath now.
We've watched all of the Guardians, haven't we?
We have, yeah. 3 was decent, yeah.
It was alright.
Very heartbreaking with the rocket scenes, and I've forgotten the name of his Arthur friend.
I cried.
Cried in the cinema, didn't you? Go, no.
Well, it wasn't that bad, but I did go a lot.
Okay, so continuing the comment, are aluminium and tin Christmas trees, the former basically a trope on certain unrealistic anachronistic things, actually being very real things? Why transfer muggle minds to monkey innate bodies if not the occasional robot forms a la Metallo? I guess he still wanted to have his feelings. I'd rather be in the superpowered bodies of magical girls. Easy now. I don't care if it means staying basically immortal, youthful. Sorry, not sorry. Eternally 17 voice actress Kikuko Inoue, having a hair and fashion sense fixation, knee length, Heim haircuts, a la Friernan's Fern plus stocking anarchy, and a bunch of Tokyo Dyoji's homemade outfits for her dear Sakura kimono. Anyone?
See, here you go, Mikey P. I only have one problem with this. I, for one, have had really long hair before. And my hair's always been, except for a few times when I've gone really short. Once bald. Um, when you have knee length hair, which I've never had knee length hair, I've had butt length hair.
Mm-hmm.
It is so hard to brush. I have very thin hair too, and it was still so hard to brush. So if you're doing that and kicking ass at the same time, either you're going to have a really great braid or you're going to have one of those tangle teasers with you all of the time. And when you're mid fight, you're just going to have to be getting the knots out. So if you can do that, you'd probably do anything.
So continuing his comment. Word of advice, Justice League Season 2 surprisingly works better on air date order than it is production order, as seen on how this episode is well timed as a wildcards and star-crossed interquel. Really makes me wonder how Season 1 goes. For alien foods, perhaps a marine like John might prefer porf, a Rebel Alliance foodstuff mentioned in the X-Wing video games manual. That's a deep cut. Starts out as an acquired taste, but it later grows on you, hence being an acquired taste. Being ladylike isn't wrong, it's just that girls, women, and some boys to men shouldn't permanently adhere to such views and manners. Besides, a girly girl Barbie collector with pink clothes and perfume bags can still be a real huge fan to ID software games such as Return to Castle Wolfenstein. I really butchered Wolfenstein then. Manly anime like Fist of the North Star and soldier books like The Forever War.
Word.
Don't pigeonhole yourself into anything.
Exactly.
Don't play up to stereotypes.
I'll wear my baseball cap backwards, and I will collect Barbie dolls.
Gotta love the Kents in the episode. Truly, characters like them are what average humans, not just Americans, should be. Yes.
Yes.
That's the thing I like about the DCAU Martian Manhunter when it comes to stories like Tabula Rasa. Despite seeing the dark inner thoughts of man, he never succumbed to what his Kingdom Come counterpart did when the poor sod read the minds of the entire world on some past off-screen crisis. 2750, timestamping, 2805, 59, not 54. Okay. If only certain Star Wars channels were more lenient on my constructive criticisms. All right.
I want to know these criticisms or constructive criticisms. Can you screenshot these for me?
Big Mikey P has beef with other YouTube channels where he's providing fair feedback and they're just tearing him to shreds. Yeah, unbelievable.
I want to see so we could actually see what Mikey P thinks about stuff.
Send them my way. Only I'm allowed to pick on Big Mikey P. Looking at Disney Star Wars films, shill Eckhart's Ladder. Oh, I don't know that channel or that person or whatever, if that's even what we're referring to. Yeah, I can't speak to it. I don't know anything about it.
See that constructive criticism.
My typings can be deemed as tracts, I guess. 3822 Ghostbusters. Walter Peck was supposed to be either an undercover ghost agent or an incognito cultist sent to help release the ghosts in earlier concepts, I think. Can confirm the first Beetlejuice feels like a timeless classic. We'll probably watch the alternate universe cartoon someday, so to see if it's surprisingly good for its age and concept. Apparently Tim Burton was very pleased with the Beetlejuice cartoon.
Never seen it.
I remember I mentioned last time that one of my mother's church friends said we weren't allowed to watch it, so I would occasionally sneak the odd episode here and there.
Because when you say not to do something, it's like, hello?
Yes. Well, this thing is, this was a very important foundational moment for me as a child because this same woman said that the Turtles' license plate number was 666 on their van, indicating that they were agents of the devil. So I looked at the title sequence and looked at the license plate, and it did not have 666 on there. I forget what it was. It might have been Turtle Power.
The person that said Blue Smarties were bad.
No, that was my mother.
Oh, sorry, Mom.
But at that point, I was like, this woman doesn't know what she's talking about. Those people at the church don't know what they're talking about. Religion is nonsense. That's what started the formation. So thank you, Beetlejuice cartoon and Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, as it was called over here, because they weren't allowed to call it Ninja Turtles, in
I didn't.
case kids like me threw ninja stars at other kids.
I I think religion is there for some people, but for us it was just a bit different because we were raised on Marlon Brando and Batman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie,
Hmm.
and that was what has molded us into the individuals that we have been molded into. Some say probably a mistake. Others say, all right, they're all right.
So let's continue this latest tome. So 4101. May her ultra conservative grave receive the original Poltergeist movie treatment then. Aside that, said movie's also a timeless classic. Don't need a remake too. For Totally Spies recommendations, Mary, there's the movie and the first 5 seasons. Good luck. Might want to rewatch Bubblegum Crisis someday, though. Its cliffhanger outcome might jar me, despite me being into Half-Life 2 and Star Wars Republic Commando, and more of a dirty pair and paddleboard guy when it comes to timeless 80s economy bubble anime. Would rather prefer Macross and Muspeda? I don't know. Over Robotech, despite some 80s anime flaws like stock footage in them. Also, don't care much about the unfinished Southern Cross. Would rather watch August, which was supposed to be part of Robotech. As an aside, the Big O never was planned to have a third season. What we got complete with an offbeat finale is actually the original plan all along, and casuals really need to watch more abstract anime like Serial Experiments Lane, Neon Genesis Evangelion plus End of Evangelion, and the Tatami Galaxy, so to sympathize with the feels. Also, Luke, sorry, Mary, you going to say something?
I have to admit something, and I might have already done this a few times.
Go.
I am not an anime gal. Because a lot of the stuff, I'm just gonna switch my chair over a little bit. A lot of the stuff that I've seen people watching in the States when I was a teenager, when I would just like walk into the living room or whatever, was dubbed. And I think I always have that really bad dub in my head when I see an anime. Um, and I don't know if my mind can ever forgive the dubbing on there
Hmm.
because subtitles are there for a reason. And unless you cannot read, um, because I know when I take my glasses off, I cannot read. Um, I don't want to listen to the dubs.
Mm-hmm. So to finish off the comment,
Yes.
says Luke, try going past movie or show trailers. After all, we live in a world where good stories like Transformers 1 actually mismarketed by shoddy trailers and stuff. Beware the Batman's good, but it being also unfinished ultimately ruins it for me. Sorry, it's not unfinished. It had a definitive ending. Admittedly, they teased stuff that could have come in the second season, but never did. It is a fully complete story with resolution, I
How many
promise.
seasons?
Just the one.
The one.
Yes. Good old Gordon Spotlight next then. Wonder if Luke heard about IGN's video about the dirty secret of the DCAU's excellence. Yes, I did watch that. And this is going to sound like bragging, but I was very surprised to see that after a week, the video I released on the same day had like double the views this IGN video did.
That is bragging. That's not.
I know. I'm sorry, it's
good
not
of you.
bragging. I'm not saying it like, yeah, I'm the best, but more like, why aren't people watching the IGN video, which is an actual documentary with, like, Bruce Timm is on the call, and Rich Fogel, people like that. I don't know.
I don't know why for a moment when you said Rich Fogel, I thought of Mick Fogel. Not Mick Fogel. What's his
Mick
name?
Foley.
Mick Foley. I don't
Yes,
know why.
they just brought on Mick Foley on just for
Yeah, because they don't look alike at all.
No,
They
they
don't
don't.
sound alike. They're not even in the same sphere of careers.
No.
That's what I thought about.
Mick Foley is a New York Times best-selling author, though, so I suppose they are tangentially
Talk about
related.
it.
So. No, I was just saying they're both authors.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Anyway, next comment is Lowell Lucas Jr. Says, "Happy holidays. It's totally Schway watching Crypto Go play. So let's all celebrate Eggnog Day."
Yeah.
Hey everyone, happy holidays to you all. May you all share this joyous season with family, friends, and aliens with Oreo obsessions. Also, having a bar fight with your warrior redhead could be a fun Yuletide tradition. As for art, being an art snob, I always appreciate the Renaissance period with Art Nuevo and Alphonse Mucha. Mucha? If it's an Italian, it's probably Mucha, isn't it? Anyway. The only art that really bothers me is Andy Warhol, as the man is celebrated as a genius, but he admits he only wanted to throw paint as a chick on a canvas. It's maddening as an illustrator. I turned into a supervillain as well, called me the Mad Detailer.
I used to like Warhol quite a bit when I was younger before I got deep into the internet. And then I realized that actually, as much as I do like pop art, Warhol is one of my least favorites because a lot of smaller artists had done that already. And it
Yeah.
just felt like it was a manufactured corporate cop out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
now, even back then, a lot of his stuff would be on prints and everything like that. And although there's nothing bad. Ooh, make your coin, but um, do it in a creative way that isn't copied off of other people.
Mm-hmm. Also, when it comes to hater comments, Mary, I'll engage only briefly till I close out the comment with kindness or a reflected message. Kind of the opposite of me, where I will try to point out that they are mistaken, and when they continue to be unpleasant, I say, well, you know what? Go take a flying you know what at a rolling donut. You're muted into oblivion. Boom.
I had have we told them about the worst comment I've ever had?
No, no.
Yeah, okay. But I had a pretty bad comment when I first started um wanting to do YouTube about a decade ago, and that still kind of haunts me. And to that person, I knew who it was, but they obviously hid behind a username, and it made me not want to do YouTube for a very long time until recently.
Well, it's what I think they wanted to happen because they're jealous, petty, spiteful little people.
Yeah. Oh, I knew this person in real life, by the way. Like, not when I say real life, and I knew this person in person.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, moving on with the comments. Says, by the way, Beetlejuice the animated series was awesome. Fun tidbit. He's got nearly 100 episodes, premiered on ABC with new episodes, but would eventually later showcase its return on reruns on Fox Kids. Eventually, its entire series would re-air on Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. Everyone loves Mr. Beetleman.
I wonder if that's on HBO.
It's not. I think it's on Tubi in the
I
States.
don't know what that is.
It's like a streaming platform. I think you can have a free account as well. So maybe that's something we'll look into. Anyway, 'tis the season for joy, everyone. So let's all celebrate. May the new year bring us all our better tomorrow. Now let's go watch our favourite DCAU episodes and share human generosity with that sad alien who needs a friend.
We love our commenters.
Yep, we do.
We sure do.
So next comment is from Alexandra. Oh, I'm going to butcher this as well. I apologise in advance. Alexander Fraux, I believe. This is one of my all-time favourite Christmas specials. I watch every year, especially the Wally West and Ultra Humanite, which is one of my favourite flash moments in the show. It was a brilliant move by the creators to have the special just having the heroes relaxing and enjoying the holiday, which helps to make the characters relatable and likeable. Very much agreed.
Yeah.
Fun story. Besides being one of my favourite Justice League episodes, Comfort and Joy was also a major inspiration for a story I wrote some time ago for some friends. The story is called Spectrum Man's Christmas Special. Spectrum Man is an original character I made. He's basically a mix of Spider-Man with Green Lantern, an average anxious teenager who receives light manipulation powers from dying alien, a Star Knight, basically the Green Lantern Corps of this universe. And becomes a superhero. Despite the cosmic concept, most of his stories I developed take place on Earth and focus on Spectrum Man's human drama involving his relationships with his family and friends. In this Christmas special, the story is about Spectrum Man trying to find a present for his little sister, only to have his plan ruined when he heard that his enemy, Frostbones, short story, he's an old rival from Spectrum Man's school, who became a supervillain with ice powers, escaped from prison and is causing trouble in the city. Spectrum Man is forced to give up an opportunity to buy a toy for his sister and goes to stop Frostbones. Their battle accidentally destroyed some Christmas attractions, including gifts for some children, and the hero convinced his rival to accept the truce to help them rebuild what they broke. To his surprise, Frostbones accepts, and the two work together to fix the collateral damage. During this moment, the two start to bond, with Frostbones briefly opening up, revealing his jealousy for people being able to enjoy a holiday, something he was never able to do due to the abuse he suffered at the hands of his father. This is also why he gets into fights with people like Spectrum Man, because, in Frostbone's eyes, heroes like him remind him of the type of person he was never able to be, good, and a respected man, which is ironic since Spectrum Man himself also had doubts about himself and insecurities about living up to people's expectations. After rebuilding the attractions, Frostbones is taken by the police, while Spectrum Man goes back to his search. Unfortunately, he not only fails to find a present for his sister, but also realizes he's forgot to keep an eye on the turkey his mother was making, resulting in the food getting burnt. Oh no. This leads Spectrum Man to become sad, believing he ruined his family Christmas. However, his mother reveals to him that the present he was looking for his sister was actually bought by her, and that all she wanted was for her big brother to spend time with her, something he wasn't able to do ever since he became a superhero. Finally understanding his sister, Spectrum Man would join her in helping to prepare the decorations, and the two would join their mother and their friends for Christmas feast. The final scene would have Spectrum Man sneaking into prison and leaving a Christmas gift for Frostbones, causing the cold-hearted to drop tears of joy, something I plan to use to develop their rivalry in the future.
I'd watch that. I'd read that. I would tell people about that.
Well, we just have.
I know.
Boom. Okay, so next comment is Harry Flew TV, who says, I want a BTAS Christmas tie-in comic where the Penguin is in Arkham thinking over his life, and while he's in there, a guard approaches the Penguin's cell and gives him a note which says, to Oswald, I'm sorry, can we start over? Love, VV. And this really touches him. Birds of a Feather might not be my favourite BTAS episode, but I can appreciate what the writers were trying to do. Plus, it introduced one of my favourite underrated side characters from BTAS. LOL. Well, that would have been a very nice Christmas story. Probably won't ever happen, though, sadly. I think they're not going to do any more BTAS tie-in comics, much to my eternal despair. Anyway, next we have Doc Widener, who says, thank goodness you're here. That game is on sale, by the way, Mary, and I was considering picking it up based on Doc Widener's recommendation. It's only a tenner, and it's got Matt Berry in it.
Thank goodness Doc Widener's here.
Anyway, if anyone has not watched the Advent Calendar shorts, head over to Mary's channel and watch them.
Thank you.
Now! You will not realise how much enjoyment you can get from watching a grown man struggle with tape and ribbon until you actually see it. Struggle that bad. Most of these videos are under a minute.
Wait till this year.
Yeah, when it'll just be footage of me like wrapped up in paper and like, trapped. Anyway, so I'm actually writing this before your video because I have a question. While cleaning for Christmas, I have been rewatching, or maybe more accurately, re-listening to Superman the Animated Series, and I noticed something. In fact, I was originally going to ask, while I liked the theme, it felt like it was overused, like any time he appeared as Supes, it started. I started coming up with really bad lyrics. Superman, Superman, yeah, it's the theme for Superman. Yeah, that was very deliberately intentional. I recall reading an interview with Shirley Walker where she said that Bruce Timm and the other producers said to her they did not want a Superman theme that where you could sing along, to go Superman, Superman.
I can sing along to anything, and you know this.
They basically wanted something that wasn't like the John Williams theme. And so she went off and she did all these different things, and none of them liked them. Shirley Walker didn't even like them until she went off and decided, look, I'm just going to go off and I'm going to do a Superman theme. I know they said that's not what they wanted, but I'm going to try it. And she played it to them, and they were like, oh, this is amazing. This is exactly what we wanted. And she went, Superman, Superman, it is time for Superman, or something like that. And they were like, yeah, okay, we were wrong.
A woman in a man's world. That's all I gotta say.
Anyway, I will spare you the rest, but then suddenly about midway through season 2, it got way better. I think it was Ghost in the Machine where it started. It definitely was by Father's Day. You would hear variations of it, but much more subtle. Any idea why? I don't recall BTAS having this issue. I think with BTAS, what they did is they kind of folded in the Batman theme into the villain's theme, if that makes sense. Particularly Two-Face and I think they did it with Clayface as well, where you would have that dun 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 would kind of work its way into it, and maybe it was different enough that it didn't stand out. It just sounded like it was, part of the music. Whereas the Superman theme, I think, is a bit more distinct, perhaps, and maybe not as flexible as the Batman theme. Maybe, I'm not certain. But I imagine it would have just been a stylistic choice. Perhaps they noticed that they were overusing it as well and decided they wanted to shake things up a bit. I haven't actually been able to find an awful lot of interviews and coverage of the making of Superman the Animated Series. So it's hard to say. I mean, I suppose I could try and ask the Dynamic Music partners if they recall. But anyway. Maybe it's because the Superman theme is much more of a fanfare than Batman's. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Now I'm at world's finest, so the music is just delightful. Maybe prep for that started influencing the regular episodes. Also, some of the cleverest writing in those 3 episodes, at least from the double entendre perspective. Propulsion Envy Batman. Brr. Also, just things like Joker seeing bats with the flight suit yelling, copy bat, which led to the Propulsion Envy joke. I pushed that window on aluminium trees back a decade or so in the States. My parents had one, but I only ever saw it in the box in the basement. They never would put it up, as I recall, which goes back to the mid-70s.
They could be quite hard to put. Like if you lifted up the trees or the, you know how you do like a fake Christmas tree,
Yeah.
and you have to fold up the limbs of it,
Yep.
the branches. I could see that being like quite
Maybe.
dangerous.
Maybe.
I don't know, but I'd have one if I could find one. I'd definitely put one up. It would prevent Gilgamesh Gil, from nope. Actually, I'm gonna stop that because he would still try to chew it.
He would still try.
Yeah.
I guess it was almost blink and you miss it, but I'm surprised Mary didn't mention Hawkgirl in that Superman trailer. Now, when we watched it, Mary went, "Is that Hawkgirl? Rewind that." And we did. I got leading with Crypto. He was a good boy, but I was surprised no comment about her. Or Nathan Fillion's mostly comic accurate Guy Gardner bowl cut from Luke. Did I not mention it? I feel like I talked about it a lot, but maybe I'm thinking of something else.
We were talking about it beforehand, but I don't remember
I said it
what we
reminds
said in
me.
the video, if I'm being honest.
I said obviously it is comic book accurate, of course, but it reminds me of Fester Adams in Adams Family Values when he's Mr. Debbie. So whenever someone shares like a picture of that Guy Gardner, I always respond with a picture of Raul Julia going, "You are Mr. Debbie."
Just we should watch that again.
We should. It's a great film. Anyway, story-wise, I understand the death of Jonathan Kent in most tellings, even the one in Man of Steel, even if I didn't like those lessons it taught. In other versions, in the Donner films or some versions of the comics, it helped Clark realise there were some things he could not control. The post-crisis Superman and his DCAU version, both, in my opinion, did benefit from being around later in Clark's life. Mary, you are spot on. Thumbs down on commenting negatively gives the algorithm the same engagement as thumbs up, and in a word or two. That is why that's why I try to always comment on all the stuff you two put out. I sometimes struggle to figure out what to post, says the second, maybe third, depending on how much chicken news there is later. Longest winded commenter in these parts. But usually it's because Luke and I are on the same wavelength, so I tried to come up with something other than, yeah, what you said. Luke, I too suffer from the last issue, where compliments are thought sarcasm. Both the boys struggle a bit with trying to figure it out. This is on me mostly. Daniel just asked me what I'm writing about, and I told him, and he said, the problem is my voice sounds like I'm being sarcastic most of the time, especially if I'm tired. I think the other issue is I tend to criticise with sarcastic compliments. For example, I struggle to get the door open with a lot of groceries, so I say, I really appreciated the help with the groceries. So when they do help, it's the exact same words, but to my brain, the inflection is way different, but they miss it. And I often add, no, I am being sincere. In the States, the animated Beetlejuice premiered on September 9th, 1989 on ABC. It was a big hit for ABC in its initial seasons and later became one of the first cartoons animated series to air on Fox's weekday afternoon children's lineup, though also remaining on ABC's Saturday morning schedules. It may be the first animated show to air concurrently on 2 different US broadcast networks, though the juice to determine that is not worth the squeeze. That's a very eloquent way of putting it. I put a comment in some other video, but did pass the exam. Hooray!
Yeah.
By the time this is read aloud, I think we will be past Christmas and New Year's, but I hope you both had a wonderful holiday season, and I'm grateful for the present your presence this year has been for me. I had seen Luke's stuff for a few years and watched when offered, but I didn't do the podcast until Cape Crusader, and I realised what my aversion to the word Schway was costing me. How dare you, sir? Schway is the greatest word in the English language. We're going to get it added to the dictionary.
Did you know that it means something else as well? It's
Is it an Arabic word?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently. It's spelled differently.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything bad.
No.
But I think that's pretty cool.
Yes.
But yes, Doc, you are also a present to us. Also, aside from the podcast and the other videos, you send us emails, and I really do appreciate that because it's, as I mentioned before, it's like I'm a part of the family.
So moving on to Screen Wiper with his chicken news. We haven't actually made a jingle. I probably should, but I've been so busy. But anyway, Betty laid another egg this morning and it was normal sized. It was Doris who laid the biggest egg today. Wilma bucked up to her ideas at bedtime and went to bed like normal. So I guess whatever was bothering her stopped. I reckon it was Betty being cranky. Being head hen, Wilma would normally put her in her place, but lately until right now, the 22nd of December, I guess she felt too under the weather to deal with it. Betty seems to think that she's the S word since laying eggs again. I can't remember if we were allowed to say S word. I think we are. It doesn't matter. Like I still got it. She is the S word, but for things like looking after other hens, throwing her weight around reduces that. I have had to tell her off a couple of times. Everyone seems civil at bedtime, though, for which they were praised. If anything else noteworthy happens before the next episode, I will add to this. Update on the 2nd of January. Wilma's body is covered by feathers again, so the cold isn't bothering her as much as she seems to be getting used to the woozy feeling the hormones cause. The new feathers are a dull brown rather than blonde like before, a less deep version of Mabel's brown colour. But Wilma has a very different face, so I can easily tell them apart. She's more active again, more like her old self, doing her leader duties more again, so Betty doesn't have to fill in for her so much anymore. For example, things like greeting me, checking I'm me when I come home after going out and leaving them loose in the garden, or asking me for food treats on behalf of the pack. Betty appears to have stopped laying eggs. In a way, that's sad because the eggs she laid recently are good, but it's also a relief because a week or two longer and they'd probably have gotten soft-shelled and risky to her health. Glad that's prevented. Doris is hanging out one-on-one a lot with both Wilma and Doris. Seems she's trying to learn leadership skills. Assuming she outlives those two, she's a future pack leader. Mabel is getting a bit less shy and more confident. She interacts with me more and doesn't let the other hens intimidate her as much anymore, which is earning her some deserved respect from them.
Oh, I love the chickens. I would love if we didn't if we owned a house instead of owning an apartment. I would love to have some chickens. And I tell you what, we would get some great advice. And I would I don't know what kind of chickens I would have because I know someone a friend of mine, Georgie, I think she had silky chickens. I think that's what they're called. But I just really like the average chicken. And knowing me, I would find like I would rescue them and I would just have like 18 by the end of the day. Like as soon as we move, I'm probably gonna end up stop eating because I don't if I've had a pet of something, I don't eat it. So I would just I would have chickens.
So the next comment is from David Carney, who says, "Hi Luke and Mary." Hello David Carney, hope you're well. So hyped for Superman, can't wait for July, which is my birthday. Comfort and Joy is one of my favourite episodes. It's the snowball fight between John Stewart and Hawkgirl that brings a smile every time. We did get rid of that snake out of the group, referring to his gaming group that we discussed last time. Merry Christmas to everyone. See you in 2025.
Do you want to know something? On Christmas Day, when we were both laying on the sofa and we were watching Red One, I was on Pinterest looking at something and I saw a ring of a snake, and I thought of this. How funny.
Next comment is from SR Striker, who returns. It's been a while since we've had a comment from SR Striker, who says, excuse me, "I would think Kelsey Grammer as Mr. Mind if he did appear in a series, or Mr. Lawrence because of Plankton from SpongeBob. Yeah, it's hard to believe that Ultra Humanite was the very first superhuman before Joker, Lex, and even Red Skull. Never got the credit, as I think he had influenced Mr. Glass from Unbreakable, if you know about Bill Dunn's Superman. You know, if the Ultra Humanite was in Unlimited, I guess he could have been an ally for the Justice League and be a mole to Cadmus, as I think of the forgotten Superman villain Conduit could fit in for Cadmus as a field agent, as he had worked for the CIA in the comics. You know, I did wonder what Wonder Woman would react to Christmas, as she comes from a very outdated culture, so she could have been Superman and Martian Manhunter or Green Lantern and Hawkgirl if she was suspicious about their relationship. Not like she would be a wing person. I wonder what that means. I'm curious if she was the godmother for their son."
You don't know what wing person is? It's like the wingman.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Sorry, I keep sniffling, by the way, guys.
Oh, that's the season, isn't it? For Martian Manhunter, I have thought of the idea of another alternate version of the Justice League as monsters, in which they try to convince him to ditch his teammates and the rest of humanity to give him a better life, and he is not getting the same glory and admiration as the others are getting. But they would have recruited Superman too, but they found out he works as a reporter who writes his own accomplishments, which is self-serving propaganda too, honest, don't you think? I suppose it would be, yes. You know, there's not enough Halloween episodes in superhero media, and this is a big question. Is The Nightmare Before Christmas a Christmas or Halloween movie, or is it both? I would say it's primarily a Christmas movie because it's about the people of Halloween Town discovering Christmas and embracing it. If you only watch the first 10 minutes, then yeah, it's a Halloween movie.
I think it's one of those movies that it can be both if you want it to be, because it can start out, you can watch the first 10 minutes on Halloween, and then the rest of you can watch on Christmas.
Yeah, I suppose you could.
Terrible laugh. Like I was like,
Next, we have Ryan Jones, who says, I know this is irrelevant, but I love your content because you talk about things you do like, unlike some people on the internet to shout and scream about things they don't like. But anyway, well, you and Mary do totally Schway episodes of Batgirl, Scarecrow, and Lockup because I would watch them, and I've got a lot of things to say about them and the impact they left on me. Big Mikey P repeated to me on day 21 of Batman the Animated Series Advent Calendar. By the way, Luke, Kim Possible was on the Disney Channel and Totally Spies is on Cartoon Network. Luke, you forgot to say this in the last episode, how you would feel if DC Animation did a version of Deadpool and Wolverine but Batman. Oh, did I? Whoops. What would like the multiversal Batman? I mean, yeah, it's fine. That would be okay. I feel like the multiversal stuff is a bit tired now. It'd be nice if they kind of chilled out on it a little bit.
"It's your tongue there, sir." Sometimes the multiverse is great. Have you seen Henry Cavill as Wolverine?
Siri, no, Siri, we don't. No.
No. Have you seen Henry Cavill as Wolverine?
Shut up, Siri. Not talking.
So you bite your tongue on that.
Yeah.
You not caring for multiverse stuff.
No, I'm not saying I don't care for it. I just think that there's an awful lot of it around, and it would be refreshing to just not do it for a little while.
Mikey P and I are going to write a movie one day just about just the multiverse and nothing else, just us walking into different multiverses. We don't see what's in it.
Mm-hmm.
We're just walking through all of the portals, and it's going to be about 1,000 portals. And at the very end, we're going to have the ultimate multiverse world where everything can be seen, and then it goes to credits.
Fair enough. Next comment is from A1ML33Y, Julia Rowell, who says, Hey, Mary and Luke, I will say after seeing the Superman trailer, and I love what I've seen. This does give me hope that the upcoming movies could be good. I'm still excited about the new Fantastic Four movie too. I like DC, but I love Marvel. I'm happy to see Krypto the Superdog in the Superman movie. That cheers me up. The episode Comfort and Joy from Justice League is always a rewatch for me. I like seeing Jon Stewart and Hawkgirl having a very romantic holiday getaway. And Jean spending Christmas with Clark and his folks is adorable. I also love the Flash and Ultra Humanite saving Christmas for the orphans by repairing DJ Rubber Ducky. This is the stuff I like about DC Comics, not the dark and depressing stuff that DC loves to do way too much of, like the New 52, Watchmen, Injustice, and Absolute Universe currently. Absolute Superman is okay, but Batman and Wonder Woman are looking try-hard 90s edgy for me, as someone trying to give the DC All-In a chance. Well, fair enough. I enjoy most things in that DC are doing. I quite like the Absolute stuff as well as the more light-hearted stuff, like World's Finest, or admittedly I am about 2 years behind on World's Finest. I need to actually sit down and catch up because I'm still buying every issue, but it just ends up falling by the wayside. But anyway, I have tried playing Injustice 2, and there's things about the game or the animation and design level that screams trying hard to be dark and serious and looking realistic. The costumes look bad. I wish they would have moved on from the evil Superman plot and the armored costumes they put on Batman, Superman, and others. Aquaman doesn't even have a hook hand in this game. Like, look, I have a question. Why couldn't Injustice look and play as good as the Marvel vs. Capcom games, like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, for example? Why isn't there a cartoony DC fighting game? I think because they want to distinguish themselves from the games that Capcom made. That would be my guess. Anyway, you all have a Merry Christmas.
I hope all of y'all had a Merry Christmas. And you know what? Even if you didn't, that's okay too, because we are not perfect people, and we don't have perfect lives, and it doesn't always have to be a Netflix Christmas movie. There's not always an ending where it's completely satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, I think it's really great that we watch these movies and we have these really happily ever after thoughts and everything, but can we just normalize being realistic as well? Because sometimes I don't have a good day, and sometimes I don't have a good Christmas, but I always want people to. But if I don't, you know what? It's not the end of my world just yet.
Well, Ryan Jones returned for a second comment. Don't usually read second comments from people, but you know what? On this occasion, it's fine. Because it's not a very long one. It says, I'm excited for James Gunn's Superman. I have high hopes for it, just like I did Batman, Cape Crusader, and X-Men 97. And just like them, I hope it doesn't disappoint me. I can relate to having negative thoughts sometimes, like when my grandfather died. It was on the 17th of December 2020. And I thought I would hate Christmas. But I know a reasonable voice in my head told me that was an over-exaggeration. You love Christmas, so
Yeah.
did he. And that's what he would have wanted.
I love that.
Where did you get your cat Isis from, Luke and Mary? Was it a cat shelter? Yes, it was.
Well, it was a woman that rescued cats, so I guess you could say cat
Yeah, she ran
shelter.
a cat shelter,
Yeah.
yes. She was very keen to give us Isis and Apollo and Thor.
Yeah.
Which I guess that's getting 3 cats off of a book that were unlikely to be adopted because, well, Isis was older and an all-black cat.
Yeah. But I tell you what, the best damn cat we ever, well, the best damn cat up until that point that we ever had, but
Hey, now, don't besmirch Monty, or
yeah,
well, I
but
suppose you could say we. Monty
yeah,
was
that's what
fine.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
We,
okay.
um, I, I will always adopt
Mhm.
because a lot of black cats out there, especially, don't get adopted because of certain, um, I guess, old wives' tales or something.
Apparently, they don't picture very good either for social media posts, which is nonsense for anyone that's seen my pictures of Gilgamesh
Well,
or
why would that even be a thought on somebody's
It is for some people,
mind?
though. It is. They want a cute cat that looks good in pictures.
They just get white sheets and take pictures of the cat on that.
Just to continue the comment then. I know that my grandparents got their last dog named Max from a dog rescue centre when they were alive. I know that Max was being badly mistreated by his last owner, but thanks to my grandparents, he became a very happy and well-loved dog.
Oh, our
That's good.
ISIS did that as well. Um, I love I love shelter animals because the love that we all have to show and to share, we could give those animals, and a lot of us do. And I just, it's one of the best things. Excuse me. Getting ISIS was one of the best things to happen to me because I showed her so much love, but she also in turn showed me love in her own little way.
Mary, your voice sounds like it's going. Have you been reading too many comments?
Oh no. I I I just haven't talked very much today. But even if you go through breeders or whatever, it's the animals that you show love and kindness to, um, that they'll do it back because animals or are loyal and I just love animals.
Mhm. So let's move on to the final comment then, which is from Teo Jones, who is a long-time viewer and recent commenter on the podcast. Says, that was not Bullock in the Batman cartoon. That was an original character, Chief Rojas, who was a complete jerk. Bullock is a jerk, but he has a good heart. He just does not show it too much. Yeah, I don't think we said that Chief Rojas was Bullock. If we did, then we certainly misspoke. I think we're both well aware that Harvey Bullock wasn't in the Batman, but you know,
I
I
wouldn't
can't
know.
I can't rule out the fact that we might have misspoke.
Wait, the Batman is in like the movie?
No,
Okay, I was like, no,
Batman. Sorry, that's how we distinguish.
I haven't watched the Batman, but I could tell you this. If I ever do, I will know the difference between Harvey and not Harvey. Because I'll be like, hey, that's Harvey. And then if it's not, I'll be like, that's not Harvey. Or Luke will tell me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So that's the last of the comments.
Oh, my throat.
Seems my throat after having a little bit of orange juice is better. I think because we're doing some bit characters on the flip side podcast over on my channel, I think we should do DCAU big characters on this channel and on this podcast.
So we're talking about, I suppose, would you consider Commissioner Gordon to be a bit character because he didn't have really very many episodes about
It's
himself?
entirely up to you.
I would say
we could have this conversation next week.
Okay, we'll have that conversation
next time.
next week.
I mean,
yeah, next time. Some examples could be, say, Summer Gleason or Bibbo Babowski in Superman, or one-off villains, maybe something like that.
Yeah. Or I'll tell you what I think as well.
Yeah. Okay. Spoilers.
All right, guys. I love you, and I hope that this year is everything you want it to be. I want to thank you guys so much for listening, and I want you guys to know that all of you are loved by us, and I'm so happy, so incredibly happy that we have this wonderful platform that we can all talk to each other on. And that's that. Bye-bye.